Hey guys, it's Holly, and it has been almost a full year of the Computer Science Diploma at Concordia University. And fast forward to it is now June 4th, so I've been in this program for over 8 months, and it has definitely given me a few challenges, to say the least. I'm going in, and now I'm in my 3rd semester, and I'm taking 3 courses. Even though it's the summer, I decided to add on a 3rd course because, as many of you are already very aware, this discipline is quite demanding, and we have projects and assignments. We have assignments every week. And so you're constantly working, you're constantly coding, and that's one of the challenges that I had to get used to, just because I really wasn't in that mode where I really had to hone in on one subject. Coming from an arts discipline where you can have your hand in multiple different ideas and creations and it works, it's completely different in this field. I find myself, I really like to do well in this program. I need to be working at it every day. I need to set aside time for myself to read the textbook. But I actually find that reading the textbook definitely isn't as useful as simply just coding, which is what they always say, right? You just need to code and then you'll be able to work through those problems. So a lot of my friends that are doing really well in the program have taken Udemy courses, and I'm taking a free one right now on C++ because I'm taking C++ right now. And I find it extremely helpful because I'm coding alongside with the lecture, and it's really, interactive and step by step, and they work through those small details that you could miss in a lecture, like in a real lecture. So I find that super helpful. So I want to go over briefly what I've experienced in this program and how it's changed me. So as some of you may have already watched my other video, I came into this really passionate about the program. I was really motivated. I have done everything under the sun since I graduated from my undergrad in studio art. I did acting, I did modeling, I did film projects, I created logos, I was doing a lot of artistic stuff, but I felt like I had hit a wall. I had gone so far with my own creativity and my own drive for art that I had lost it. And to regain that, I really needed to go away from it. And so I really wanted to explore computer science because it challenges me, it challenges my brain in a way that I've never thought before, and I'm really excited by that. And I can see how, just the way I process things now, I'm a lot more analytical than I used to be, and I'm really, it's exciting to explore and be curious, because I find like if you stick to one thing for too long and you allow yourself to get bored, that's when you're unfulfilled, and that's not okay. So for me, I went into this and everyone told me, what are you doing? You're an artist. All my life, I'm an artist. But just because I decide to go after something that may not appear on the surface as artistic, as I've learned, and I already kind of knew this, that computer science is a very creative field. When you're coding, you are being creative. It's just in a different way. And so I'm learning to do that, and I'm really excited to be able to get good enough to the point where I can start, creating my own software and doing that by being creative. So, it's not one discipline or the other. I really do believe to be successful in anything, you need to combine fields, because that's the whole idea of abstraction, like connecting things that don't necessarily belong, but then they do as you get down to it. So that's really great. But in my first semester, I was honestly so mentally I had a huge weight that I was carrying because I had all these assignments. I was still trying to do art projects on the side, and I found myself lost. I couldn't really pay attention in class, and most of that has to do with the fact that I was still, I wasn't really taking it as seriously as I should have, and that hurt me. And of course, in a very tough discipline like this, you need to be completely focused and completely aware of what you're learning, or else you're going to lose half the material and you end up with a 50% on the midterm. And so I went into this computer architecture course thinking, well, I love architecture. This is going to be great because I always got A+ in architecture in my arts degree. While I go into this one, and it's like learning German. It's probably worse than learning German because I have nothing to really relate it to. There's all these, binary, what? All these terms are thrown at me suddenly, and I'm supposed to know what this is, And it was so challenging to the point that, and I was also a team leader in my other class for a group project, and I was dealing with that, trying to communicate between my team members, and I also took a technical writing course, which was really good. So I actually ended up dropping computer architecture like the day before the final. I had to write a huge letter, and I dropped it because I knew that if I went in there, I wasn't going to give it my best effort, because something I've also learned from my time in university is that just because they give you a time frame to do a degree doesn't mean that it's going to work for everyone, And that's something that I regretted in my undergrad, was that I really rushed it. I really went too fast. I didn't do as high quality work as I should have. And I tried to cram in way too much. And I had to sacrifice a lot of, my own excellence in succeeding. And that's not okay, because the whole point of university is to give your best and to learn and absorb as much as possible. And I don't know if I did that to my best of abilities. Well, this time around, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to go into the final and just, whatever. No, I'm pretty serious about this, and I will take that extra time. If it means that I need to repeat the course next year, I will do that. There's no shame in that. I felt really bad about it because everyone in class got a beer after the final and I didn't go because I just felt like, oh, I'm a loser, but you can't, I talk to myself in a very positive way, telling myself that it is your own game, Holly. You need to make it yours, okay? You can't compare yourself to other people. Some of these people in this program are coming from an engineering background. They have a degree in a technical field. Mine is an artistic field. It's going to take me a lot longer. So I might need to take more than 1 year, and that's what's going to happen. And then in my second semester, I went forward, and I absolutely love this one course called Operating Systems, because I love to really look at the whole, how everything's put together with the semaphores and the locks. Like, that's really exciting for me, because all of a sudden, like, the rules and the actual, logistics come into place, and I really thrive in that environment. I actually got the second highest grade on the midterm in this class, which I was so excited. But I actually went into the final and I bombed it because I was working so much. I'm also working in IT at Concordia, so I managed to be hired once again, and I'm so thrilled about that. And I love problem solving and seeing how my education relates to the IT world. So I'm just, taking calls, helping professors upload their grades, stuff like that. It's a very immersive job because I get to go behind the scenes in what's actually going on in the university technical field. And I'm like the point of reference of anyone else in the technical field at Concordia, because I have to send off the messages to the specific domains or the specific departments. So that's exciting. But So anyways, I was working, I was taking 3 classes, it was the winter. I'm also very passionate about health and fitness, so I also have a very rigorous fitness regime. I cook all my meals, I prep them all, you know. So it was challenging. I'm also living on my own, you know. So downtown Montreal, I also have a boyfriend. So it's like, how do you do all of that while trying to go forward in a degree, which is very, very demanding? Well, it's all about time management, which I've realized, and so I went into the final of my favorite class and I bombed it, and I actually failed the class, which honestly, I was so devastated when that happened. I couldn't, you know, I didn't even want to leave my bed because I felt like I had really let myself down, because this is something that I really wanted, and I just felt like I could have said no to so many social outings, you know? Because again, this social butterfly in me wants to be friends with people, wants to go out, wants to make people happy, you know, but it's not going to happen because you have an assignment due. You have time that you need to allocate to your studying, you know, and that didn't happen as it should have. You know, I was, again, a team leader in a group for the second semester, and I took on way too much responsibility. I took on way too much, you know, work, and I overworked myself, and I went into that exam, and I couldn't even think straight, you know? I felt terrible. And so I talked to the graduate program director for my diploma, and he said, well, yeah, you can supplement the course this summer semester, so I'm actually supplementing it with a distributed systems course, which is very similar, except we're working with networks, so that's really, really exciting. So, you know, again, it doesn't matter how great you think that you're going to do, or, you know, it can still all go south. I mean, it's just, I'm really learning what works for me, and I think one of the skills that I really am working on is saying no, which is something that I've had trouble saying to most people and things. People want to go out. Okay, I'll come, you know, because I think it's going to make them happy, but then I end up letting myself down because I have my own commitments that are a high priority, you know? So that's what I've started to do, and I feel very empowered by that, and it's really great. However, I want to take note on a few experiences I've had specifically as a woman in computer science. So the first semester when I joined, I was really, you know, I was so motivated, I was very social with everyone, I was very open to the new experience. However, some of my superiors were not. I actually had a few of my superiors in this program tell me, why are you in this? You should just go back to art. You can't just switch fields like that. You need to focus on one thing. I actually had someone helping me work through a problem, and they said that to me. And, you know, to be honest, I'm so used to people telling me that what I'm doing is not the right thing to do that it doesn't even really faze me anymore. And I think that's a bit sad that I'm not even really affected by that criticism. Maybe it's a good thing, but I mean, when I talk to other people about it, it's shocking. I can't believe someone in this position would ever tell you that you shouldn't be here, you know? What is that, you know? Like, you should give up, just go home. Like, oh, aren't you supposed to be my mentor, you know? Don't you want me to be here? You wouldn't be having this job if I left, you know what I mean? So what are you doing? It's strange. And then in the second semester, I was a friend, and I do find too, being a woman in a male-dominated field, I deal with a lot of, guys saying things that are very derogatory towards me and very offensive. And so I've had to confront a few of these people on what they're saying to me and how that is really not okay. It's 2018. Close your mouth. Like, leave that for the guys. Don't bring me into this, okay? I'm here on my own time. You don't need to ruin that experience. And so I've had to directly let people know that that's a boundary that is not going to be crossed ever again. And I won't state specifics of what was said, but, I've been very hurt, and I think that's part of the challenge that comes with going into this field, is you are going to be up against a lot of people that don't really understand how you fit into this. At least for me, that was my experience, and it's an ongoing thing. I also find too, when I'm in a room studying with a group of guys, they're all talking and it's loud and they're getting their opinion across, and it's really hard for me to speak up and say, I don't understand, because you get left behind. So I've really learned to assert myself, and in a way that, it's a constant game of you really need to interrupt people or else you're never going to get a word in. So that's what I've learned to do. And asking for help is a big one, because I have a lot of pride, and that's not necessarily a good thing, because when you don't know something, you shy away and you just want to pretend that you do understand, but that's really not helpful, because you end up, again, not gaining anything out of what you're supposed to be gaining. So you need to ask for help. You need to be your own best friend, and you need to look out for yourself, because no one else is going to do that. So that's super important. And yeah, and then in this semester now, I have the 3 courses, and once again, I'm a group leader in my project, so that's really exciting. Another exciting point, upon first joining this program, within the first 2 months, I had multiple job offers. Now, this may be due to the fact that I have a very, I've worked on my LinkedIn a lot, so I have a very good profile photo. I've written out in detail the courses that I'm taking, my own experience. I have quite a bit of work experience. I've worked as a leader in many roles. I've worked within the university. I have an idea of how systems and databases operate. And so because of that, and potentially because I'm now in this program, I've had multiple job offers that I didn't receive before. I've had people call me and ask if I could work remotely. I mean, I was considering it, but knowing myself, I, again, need to focus on this goal as it is right now and make sure that I do it to my best ability and go from there. But otherwise, I really appreciate the support from everyone out there, and any girl that's in computer science. I'd love to hear your experience, and yeah, have a great day.